Okay, we say 12-ish for a reason. Yeah, let's see if we can get all in here. All right.
Yeah, 12-ish because there's always technical issues.
Always. Okay, so we're HealthWorks. This is Dr. Christy Porterfield, and I'm Dr. Jennifer Taylor, and so we're going to be going over healthy travel and keeping kids healthy today. So we have several topics to go over. We've had some fantastic questions come in from our practice members. So if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to go ahead and post them so we know you're here and you're listening.
So we're going to start out with a travel version of what's in your bag.
Okay, excellent.
So this is my personal travel kit, and I keep it always stocked and ready to go at a moment's notice.
She loves to travel.
I love to travel, you guys. I would travel all the time if y'all didn't need your spines adjusted. Okay, so healthy travel tips. I want to just talk to you about everything that is in my bag that I use to travel with. So some of it is super secret and special, and some of it I haven't found a better option yet, so like my hairspray. Yeah. Y'all have seen this at Walmart, so this is not super special. But the rest of it, there's some good things in here. Okay, so the first thing about my travel kit is I like to travel light. So I have all of these like cute little
containers.
Yeah, little containers. Like I can get a few little serving sizes out of them. So I've got my hair product and my naturally repair cream. If y'all, this is one of the face creams that we carry at the office, and I love it. I travel with the repair cream because it's really, really thick, and it performs as advertised. So like if you're going, I don't know if y'all find yourself in the same situation, but when I travel, I always seem to end up with a little either windburn or sunburn, whether I'm like out in the desert or on the beach. I don't know.
I prefer beach. I
like it all. But so I use the repair cream because I find that my skin needs a little extra help. And along that same line, I travel with my own little face spray. So I like to use this for both skin healing and like a refresher on the airplane if you need it. So this is just filtered water and some essential oils. So I switch it up just depending on my mood, really.
Does it smell like this time?
I don't know. I usually put a lot of lavender in because my skin loves lavender, and it's very, very healing for whether you have the sunburn or the windburn, or so that is usually a primary component. And then I wanted to show you guys this because this is one of the tips that that I've just happened upon in my brain. I'm sure someone else has done it prior to me, but I just take some of the, what's that called? The tape thread?
Is it like plumber's?
Yeah, plumber's tape. Like if you're going to put on a new shower head, and I put it around the necks of my bottles. And the trick is you have to wrap it the opposite way of how you're going to screw the lid on. Otherwise it'll just come right off. But that keeps my bottles from leaking, and I've had really, really good success with that.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than opening up your bag when you get to your destination and everything is just all over the place.
Yeah, like on this little bag, I almost ate the bottom of it out because when my clove oil busted.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a different way of carrying my essential oils now, which I will share with you in just a moment. And then as on the same vein as that with keeping your skin happy with the exposure to the elements, I also carry some almond oil, or you could do coconut oil, and I keep it inside a baggie with a rubber band to keep the lid on with the tiniest little, I don't know if you can see that, it's like the tiniest little opening, because there's nothing worse than oil all over your bag. You could use coconut oil. Some people like coconut oil, but I just prefer the convenience of almond oil because it's not going to get hard on you. So I use that for oil cleansing. So if my skin is really irritated, which traveling sometimes it can get, then I'll switch over to do entirely oil cleansing. And we might have a video on that. If not, you can Google it. It's pretty easily findable on how to actually cleanse your face with oil. So that's what that's for.
It takes off makeup really well too, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness, you don't buy makeup remover. Oil is the way to go. I mean, even if you have oily skin, it really is. Yeah. Even this repair cream takes off oil really, really well. And then this is my face wash. I am a really, really big fan of Morocco Method. So they are a company that has. You smell?
Yeah.
It smells really earthy. In a good way. I like it.
I like it too.
But Morocco Method, they have face wash and a lot of shampoos and hair oils and stuff like that. So I use their shampoo. This is their little travel size one. And I use their face wash. And I use their hair products. So this is a styling gel. And this is really, like, it's beat up. It's been around with me. Mm-hmm. Maybe you guys can see it. Morocco Method. I think it's called Blood of the Dragon Styling Gel.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh. Reminds me of like tiger's blood.
Yeah.
As a kid. But if y'all haven't ever looked at this company, I love them. It's a next level for hair care. So if you're transitioning from like a traditional shampoo and you want something with nothing in it, the Naturally that we have here is really, really good. Mm-hmm. But for me, the next step was this Morocco Method. And it doesn't strip your hair of oils at all, which I've found to be really, really nice. I was in this...
You have to wash your hair less because of that?
Well, I wash my hair less. I was one of those people, I did not think that there was any way that I could not wash my hair every day. Like for all of my life, since I was probably like a preteen. Mm-hmm. I've washed my hair every single day with like a regular shampoo, like Pantene or something. And it wasn't until I finally graduated to this, and this was like a years-long process.
Yeah.
I tried a few times and then had to go back because it just wasn't working. But eventually, I think I detoxed my scalp and got my hair to the point where...
That's what the Naturally is good for. It really does help detox the scalp, so it's probably a good first thing for you to try for coming off those... It's just like Dr. Christie said.
Yeah. And so this is clay-based. So just like the clay tablets that you all might take, which I'll talk about in just a moment, that's what this is based off of. And with the face wash, I really, really love it because it has a base of aloe. And so it's great for sunburn. But even just day to day, when I come out of the shower after having washed my face with this, I still use a lotion, but I probably wouldn't need to, at least not as much, because it creates a nice barrier. And you don't need a lot of it, so I can get away with, this would probably last me a week.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Okay, what else is in my bag? Oh, we're dropping things. Okay, so this is my deodorant.
I love all the little...
It's so tiny. I don't like to feel weighted down with anything across the board. So like I travel as light as I possibly can. So I may have talked about this with you guys before, but a few years ago I started using diaper rash ointment as my deodorant. Because I couldn't, my skin did not like all of the baking soda
Mine doesn't like that either.
based natural deodorants. So this actually works really, really well for me, and you just need a tiny little bit. So that's my deodorant pot right there, so cute and tiny. And then the last two things in my liquids bag are colloidal silver spray.
I take that every time I travel.
Oh, this stuff is great. So I use it like you might traditionally use it, like in your nostrils, in your nose, in your mouth. Like especially if you, after having been on the plane, people are coughing around you. But y'all, I've been known to spray, and I could just bathe myself because
Depends on who you had to sit next to in the
you're
airplane.
sitting next to that person that's like, or you're out and about and you can use it even as a hand sanitizer. So spray your hands.
But you get a cut or something while you're on vacation. Just immediately wash it and spray it with that. That's a great way to keep things nice and clean.
This is an all around, and I keep the little tab that it comes with so it doesn't end up spurting or spraying in my bag. And then immune stimulator drops. So I started traveling with these guys. Immune stimulator drops. Y'all can hear everything dropping probably. Immune stimulator drops. And I travel with these. I don't necessarily take them all the time, but if you're in a situation where someone's coughing on you, or you might maybe feel a little run down from travel.
Yeah.
And then this is a great tool to have.
Or even run down prior to traveling.
Yeah.
A lot of times, we get really stressed out wanting, to get out of town, and we have so many things we have to take care of. That stress can really run down our immune system.
Yeah. And so, as I mentioned, I almost ate the bottom of this bag out with some clove oil. Like, I opened it up and I'm like, oh, my suitcase really smells like clove oil. So I switched over to this handy dandy little guy for carrying my essential oils. And you do not need a lot of essential oil. I mean, a little bit goes a long way. So this is just a little pouch, and it has tiny little, let me get close again. It's got tiny little bottles for the essential oil, and it comes with like a little pipette that you can put it in there. And I don't travel with a ton of oils. So I've got 2 lavenders. I've got a copiabia.
Should have looked that one up too.
Copiaba. I'm not entirely certain on how to pronounce that one. Y'all, when we were in Belize, they had these trees, and I forget what they were calling them, but they were breaking open the pods, or some of our tour guides, breaking open the pods and rubbing it on our skin, and they're saying the mosquitoes won't touch you if you have this on. And we had prepared for mosquitoes, but we didn't prepare for Belize mosquitoes. So all of
Whole different thing.
vampires. Oh my gosh, they like sight you from a mile away and swarm. But these pods that they were breaking off the trees were working. And so when I got home, I was researching and trying to find, like, what is this pod and why do we not know about this pod?
Right.
Why are we not growing these pods? And it turns out that this is just another name for it. Copiabia.
Yeah, something like that.
Copiaba. So that's my mosquito repellent. Yeah. 2 lavenders, because lavender is good for everything, and maybe I get a sunburn, or somebody I'm traveling with gets a sunburn. Clove oil. I like clove oil. I'm kind of weird. I brush my teeth with it. That is probably
antiseptic. And
it's probably a little harsh for most people.
I like clove.
I don't know, but that's what I use as my toothpaste. Also super antiseptic. And then frankincense oil, because also it is very, very healing and antiseptic, and if I were going to have a scrape or something, I'd want to put it on there. So that's my little essential oil kit.
Good choices.
Yeah, I haven't had any breakage or leakage with that. So, and then I really like this bag too. It's carry-on approved, so TSA will let you take it through. And it zips closed, so you're not like constantly going through Ziploc bags, and you can see everything that you got. So that's my version of what's in your bag.
I like it.
And then I've got a few other things that
You've got the packing cubes.
I have the packing cubes. I haven't used them yet.
Oh, they're very nice.
They're very nice?
Yes.
Okay, good. I have a few things that I haven't, that I don't take every time, but depending on where I'm going.
Okay, now let me look at the word.
So this stuff She's not gonna look.
Astaxanthin.
Astaxanthin!
Did it.
Nice!
I had to look up how to pronounce this
some
word.
some of these words are so hard. It's so hard to remember how to pronounce. Just don't look at it and then just say it out of memory.
Astaxanthin.
Okay, you guys, this is what I take prior to going somewhere with a lot of sun. And I'll start a few weeks prior, or really with my family, like this time of year. So this is May, and I know that we're going into the season where we're going to travel, we're going to go to the beach, we're going to be out in the pool, and so this stuff is a major antioxidant that helps to protect your skin from natural sun exposure.
Yeah.
So I recommend taking it. I mean, that's what we do for our family. Especially I have one son that is not a big, he works nights and he's not a big fan of the sun. So if I know he's going to the beach, I give him a couple of these bottles and he says he takes them. Okay. But it protects your sun going into the summer season. But especially like if you're going to travel to the beach, to Mexico.
Yeah, especially if you're in an office all day and you never get, any sun or anything.
Yeah. This will help you to protect your skin as you go out to the beach or in the summertime. And you can take it according to what the bottle says.
There's also, I want you to check out other videos too that we have. Most of us are vitamin D deficient, so check out another video that I have on there about how vitamin D works to actually protect you and give you that summer glow that you're looking for without you having to go through that, what they call it, that first sunburn.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to go through that. If your vitamin D is optimized, you won't need to go through that. But I would really suggest, if you don't see the sun a lot, the astaxanthin is excellent to protect your skin.
So there's a lot of research that talks about if you need to get sun exposure because that vitamin D helps to protect you against big bad cancers, and a lot of other things as part of your immune system. But also, sun exposure can cause skin cancer, right? So it seems like you're in a catch-22. But if you are nutritionally sound and your body's able to take care of the free radicals that are created by sun exposure, then skin cancer should not be an issue for you.
Not at all.
Yeah. So, and if you're wondering if you're nutritionally sound, Dr. Taylor's nutritional exam is the way to go.
It's fun too. Yeah. For most people.
It's fun. It's for me. She has lots of delicious things for you to taste. Okay, so one of the biggest questions that y'all wrote in about was how to prevent tummy troubles while you are traveling. So I actually have a whole it's tummy protection kit. Oh, I forget exactly what we call it, but it's a group of products that I always travel with. So to help prevent any sort of tummy issues.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than that.
Oh no, it can ruin your whole vacation. It can be horrible. Okay, so just day to day, if I'm around here and I'm going to eat out, these are the two things that I take. I take a Digest Forte and a Zypan. So these are standard process products. We have them here in the office. There are a few contraindications with the Digest Forte because it has some herbals in it.
Right.
So ask us about this one. But the Zypan is pretty universal.
Yeah.
So let me show you guys these pouches and how I travel with it. So this is a cute little pill pouch that I got at the Container Store. And it's so tiny. I mean, you can see like it fits in the palm of my hand.
You don't have to take the big bottles with you.
No.
That'll weigh you down.
No, no way. And then it just pops open like this. And you can see my Digest Forte in there. And that helps to stimulate natural digestion. And then these guys here, this is a Zypan. And as you travel around with them, they get a little, they absorb some moisture and get a little crumbly. But there's nothing wrong with them at that point. They're still just fine. They're just not as pretty. And they'll get a little gooey on the inside of your pouch. But that helps to support your and increase your stomach acid. So what that will do for you is it's going to help you to digest. It's going to help your normal digestion, and then if you eat anything that might be bad for you, your stomach acid is designed to kill it.
Yes.
So
helping that along.
Yeah, ideally, if you even if you ate food that was bad, if your stomach acid is sufficient, then the way that your body should work is that you wouldn't even get sick because your stomach acid is going to kill it.
Neutralize it. Neutralize it before it becomes.
It's going to neutralize the threat. So those are the two that I have these in my purse, and it's not a huge commitment, and they're pretty light. So I also take those when I travel. But the things that I do extra when I travel are, I take with me the Redmond Clay Daily Detox. Can you see that? There we go. And so this is
bentonite clay.
Bentonite clay, and it will help you get over any sort of tummy troubles that you might start to have. So I just automatically take 2 capsules in the evening. As part of my travel routine, because I have had vacations that have been ruined by an upset stomach, and I'm not willing to let that happen again. Some of you asked about diarrhea. If you have diarrhea when you're traveling, this would be the way to go to. Another option that I don't have an example to show you would be to use charcoal tablets. They would work in much the same way.
I actually was reading up on this when I was starting to learn about bentonite clay, and the history of it is American Indians used to keep a pouch of this on them as they were traveling because, when they're traveling through their area, they could be eating something that probably wasn't fresh, maybe a little bit spoiled, and when they started to feel a little tummy trouble, they would just pinch off a little piece of the bentonite clay and they would eat it.
They had the same traveling issues we have.
I know! So that's kind of where the history of it came from. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And it works like magic. I love this stuff. Right now we're having a little bit of a problem sourcing this. They're not going to make tablets
for a little while.
Until next year.
Yeah, but they do have the bulk.
They have loose clay. You can get it from other sources. We haven't really vetted any of those out yet. Or like I said, you could use charcoal tablets as well. And then when I travel, to kind of head off some things, I will do a double or triple dose of a probiotic. So if you generally have some digestion issues, I would suggest a triple dose. If you're normally pretty good, a double dose is probably okay.
And this one is shelf stable, so you don't have to worry about refrigeration or anything like that.
Yeah, that's the reason I use this one, because you can throw it in your suitcase. It's prescript assist. Your normal dose is 1 tablet, so you'll be doing between 2 and 3 tablets in the morning on an empty stomach. So before you even leave your hotel room, do your probiotic. And then some people were asking about constipation. So
go both ways.
Yeah. So the super fun side of travel. So this is magnesium, and I carry it just in a little Ziploc baggie. I've never gotten pulled aside by TSA for having a white powder in a Ziploc baggie.
Somebody was going to ask that, I know.
So if I was going on a longer trip, I would definitely fill this up a little bit more. But if you are having constipation issues, magnesium can be very, very helpful. Now, I would suggest working up with this. Play with it when you're at home, because if you take too much magnesium, you're going to put yourself on the other end of the spectrum and ruin your vacation for a whole nother reason.
Right.
So know what your dose is, and if you're prone to, somebody said, like the first couple days that I'm somewhere, I typically won't go to the bathroom, I'll be constipated. So I would suggest starting to take this maybe a week ahead of time, if you don't normally anyway. And then that should help to head off that problem altogether. Okay.
What else you got?
What else do I have? I got my handy dandy sleep mask. We're not having sleep affected by our travels. So,
it's very comfy.
Darling.
Yes.
I like this one because it actually has like little holes for your eyes, smush in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Got this off of Amazon. It's Camosa sleep mask. And it's How does it look on you?
Looks very nice.
Oh, thank you.
You wear it well.
I got my gum because my mouth will get dried out on an airplane.
Absolutely.
And even when you're drinking a lot, I don't know. I like this, and I like this brand. So the reason that I choose cinnamon is because I also travel with some homeopathics, the immune stimulator drops, and we're going to talk about, I have some other homeopathics, and they will be counteracted by peppermint. So I choose a cinnamon gum. I've got my salt. So I carry salt. This is real salt, Redmond's real salt, and it's in a tiny little container.
Once again, the cute little containers.
A cute little container. And I actually carry this in my purse. If you've ever dined out with me, you can probably see me pulling this out of my purse from time to time.
Because that's salt that actually heals, doesn't cause high blood pressure or any sort of issues that we've always heard salt is part of.
Yeah. And so I travel with this because if I want to salt my food, this is what I'm going to use. But this is also really great if you are having a headache to give you electrolytes, or if you just feel like you need to replenish electrolytes. So there's another video about headache tips, which you can look at to tell you exactly how to use salt. But that's part of the reason that it's in my bag. I also, if I'm traveling in the winter, will take this little baby humidifier, which I can diffuse my essential oils in. It just plugs into the bedside table, super tiny and compact. And you can, this is actually designed so you can even take it without the bottle and put it onto a water bottle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Bottle caps humidifier. And I do not always take that with me. That's like if I'm going to go somewhere in the winter and I know the heater's going to be on and my nose is probably going to start drying out. At this point, you might think that I always travel with a bag like this big. But that's not true. I do a carry-on. And then the last thing I want to show you guys is for motion sickness. So I really struggle with motion sickness. Less now than I used to, but I like to scuba dive, and so when I get on the boat,
Yeah.
I hate it. It's the worst part. If I could just, I need to only shore dive. That's the only solution. But I have my little C-band bracelets.
There's pressure points.
Pressure points, yeah. So you can get these at probably even Walmart,
CVS, Walmart, yeah.
And they've got just these little pressure points that you put it 3 fingers up. It goes on an acupressure point. And I find that these do help. I've had moms tell me that it helps with morning sickness too.
I use them.
Little tip.
Yeah.
And then I like this Highlands motion sickness. Let's see. There we go. And you can get this at a lot of places too. Highlands is pretty universal.
Yeah, major, even grocery stores now.
Yeah.
Carrying this.
Yep. And then last but not least, I have another Ziploc baggie full of mysterious substance, which is some arnica tablets. So that's just, say you have a headache or bumps, bruise, anything like that. So these are arnica tablets. And that's it. That's what's in my bags.
I like it. I like it. I'm gonna make some changes myself.
So, okay.
All right. So what's next? What we've got quite a bit here, but we'll get through this. Questions. We've got some good questions that we have here.
One of the other things that I wanted to make sure that I said to you guys, somebody was asking about, like, I can't go to the bathroom for a few days, like I'm constipated. So likely this is a stress response. And so we talked about the magnesium and working up prior and then making sure that you're taking that while you're on the trip. But also, remember the EFT, so the tapping. So we have other videos on how to do this, but stress is, I think, really, I don't know anybody who doesn't get at least a little bit of stress traveling. I mean, if you're on an airplane, that alone is really stressful for your body.
The process of being on an airplane.
Right, the process, but I mean, even if you didn't have the process, your body's not really designed to like pop up to whatever, 30,000 feet and
right.
Go 10 time zones in a few hours. So that can be just really stressful on your body too. So make sure that you are remembering the EFT technique can be really helpful. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So there was a question that was put on, and it says, my atlas goes out a lot when I travel. If I'm traveling for 1 to 2 weeks, it's a long time to be in pain until I'm back in town and go to HealthWorks. What can I do in the meantime and how to prevent in the first place? So preparing prior is really key. So as a practice member, you have been given a traction pillow, a cervical traction pillow. We actually purchase these types of pillows for you guys because they're very lightweight and very compact. So they're a great travel companion for you. So not only prior to your trip, use it on a regular basis so your cervical curve will be nice and strong to support you on the way. And also take it with you. Just throw it into your bag. It helps relieve stress, especially right here at the base of the skull that could actually happen when the atlas goes out or wants to go out. It can really support you in that way. And make sure that right before your travel, you make sure you come in, and right upon coming back from traveling, you make that appointment. So just preparing before, taking that travel pillow, that cervical traction pillow with you on your trip, as well as making sure your appointment when you come back to make sure that we put you all back together again after a fun vacation.
Another option, if you can't squeeze your traction pillow into your bag, is to roll up a hand towel. Mm-hmm. So I like this tip because you can use it in a couple of different ways. So not a big cushy hand towel, but like one of those like a little bit thinner ones. And you're gonna roll it up real tight to make a cylinder, about yay big or so. And you can use that when you're on the airplane. If the seats are really uncomfortable and you start to get discomfort in your low back, you can use that in the small of your back to help support that curve while you're on the airplane. So not at your hips. So we're not talking down here, we're talking in the small of your back, like in between where your ribs stop and your hips start.
Support that curve.
To support the curve. And then you can use that as a traction pillow too. So it's not going to be quite as effective as the blue traction pillow that you guys have because it doesn't offer quite the same leverage. But if you can't fit it in your bag, it is an option. Now, if like my atlas goes out every single time and I don't hold that very well, then I would really, really strongly recommend what Dr. Taylor said and take the traction pillow. But if you're kind of just looking for prevention, but you're usually a pretty good atlas holder, then you could try the Handheld Tip.
So here's the other question that we have. So how often do you suggest taking time off, vacation time, whatnot? I mean, we here at HealthWorks, we really kind of practice what we preach. We are very congruent with what we ask of our patients. We do what we tell you guys to do. And so here at the office, we take off 3 weeks out of the year. And we do that because we need to recharge as well. Not only for ourselves and our family, but also to make sure that we're at 100% all the time.
It's such an individual thing. So everybody can do something a little bit different. And just because you take off doesn't mean that you're necessarily going someplace really super fancy.
Staycations are fun too.
It may be a staycation. But we live in such a high-charged world. I think that we as a society value work and being busy and all of those things that go along with it. Like, do we really, really value that? Like, have you ever heard someone, they're like, oh, I'm so busy. And it's like, they're like, oh, I'm so fabulous.
Yeah, what's with that?
I'm not sure what's with that. I don't know. It's like the more busy you are, the more important you are or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But we really value that, and I don't think we value enough taking time for ourselves, recharging, getting a full night's sleep. And all of those things are really important, and you will run your health down if you don't do those things. So a lot of times I see people in a situation where they're deciding not to take time for themselves or pushing themselves too hard. And I have been in this situation. And so what will happen is that you become stressed and more susceptible to illness. And eventually you're going to end up taking a vacation on the couch, laid out sick, versus maybe you could have taken a little bit better care of yourself, not gotten run down or overdone it, and enjoyed your time off. So
Yeah, I mean, if you don't treat yourself well, then your body's gonna make you stop.
yeah. It's kind of a pay now or pay later, except when you're talking about vacation, like the paying with a vacation is much better than paying being sick.
Yeah,
So
yeah, much more fun.
your choice. All right, let's see. You guys wanted to know about jet lag. So I'm not an expert on jet lag. All of my traveling since my kids have been little have been up and down in South America, North America. I haven't gone overseas in the past 20 years. But my husband travels a lot. And I heard some really good advice recently when I was talking to someone who is a really, really
Extensive
avid traveler.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what the advice is that you will stay up on the airplane, like find things to entertain yourself, to stay awake the whole time. And then when you get there, you will continue that staying awake until that time zone's bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have a little bit of an early bedtime if you want. And then sleep, and the next morning you are
Back in
reset.
sync. Yeah.
Basically, you've exhausted yourself to the point that you're willing to take on the new time zone. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, while that is really great advice, I haven't tried it myself yet, and it seems like it might be a little hard.
Especially with kids, because we'll be going to Europe for the summer.
Yeah, with kids. So there's two things that I would recommend. There is a homeopathic called No Jet Lag that is really highly rated. You can get it on Amazon. Really highly rated. So that can be helpful. I love homeopathics. And then using some short-term melatonin can help too.
Yeah.
So you take it about an hour before bedtime in your new time zone, and that will help to prep your body for sleep.
Yep.
So, and then someone else asked the opposite thing. I cannot sleep on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do?
Stay up.
I don't know.
Don't force yourself into it. I mean, that's stressful enough as it is.
If you're going across different time zones, that may be really helpful for you.
Yes, that's a great skill to have.
If you're not, I don't know. I'm one of those people that can like nod off anywhere, which is like a blessing and a curse altogether. So I don't have great advice for you on that one.